It's a financial assistance provided for voluntary off-duty education programs in support of a soldier's professional and personal self-development. So federal tuition assistance pays for college degrees. So not for random classes or credentials or certifications. FTA pays towards a pathway to an actual degree, whether that be an associate's, bachelor's, or master's degree, as long as you don't already have one. If you already have an associate's degree, the Army will only pay for a bachelor's. If you already have a bachelor's, the Army will not pay for an associate's or a bachelor's, but they will pay for a master's degree. So you have to be going upward, and no repeats of already obtained degrees. Just like the state tuition assistance, this is available to currently serving soldiers in good standing, which means as long as you don't have any unit holds, you don't have any low GPA holds, you will be fine using your CAC. You can access the Army Ignited website just using your CAC. Once you sign in to Army Ignited, if you're a first-time user, if you do have a unit hold and for some reason you're not aware, you'll notice the block in the system. So Army Ignited reads FTA. So every night there's an overnight refresh that will catch such holds. I do not have access to lift holds. It has to go through your unit. FTA pays tuition costs up to $250 per semester hour, or up to a total of 16 semester hours each fiscal year. That is equivalent to $4,000. So whether you hit the $4,000 cap, if you go to an expensive school, it's very easy to hit that $4,000, sometimes in one semester, depending on where you attend. But if you go to a school more reasonably priced or more military friendly, we shall say, they're much closer to the $250 per semester hour, so less out of pocket for you. Like I mentioned before, it may be used up to a master's degree. And the link to the Army Ignited website is right there. It's armyignited.army.mil. And if you click on login, you'll be able to see your account. You do need your CAC for this website. That is new with this 2.0 Army Ignited. And I wanted to add, just like with the, as Major Reynolds mentioned a few moments ago, you do need to enter your course requests at least 8 days in advance to the start date of your course. FTA deals with schools all around the country and some international schools. So you can imagine how many start dates and, run times, how different they can be. So it's up to you as the student and soldier to get your requests in advance. You have up to 60 days in advance. So as Major Reynolds stated before, as soon as you know that you're taking a course, it's best to get your requests in, or of course, call me, and we can do it together if you're running into any issues. I will mention that if you are looking to move to a different state for whatever reason, or coming in from a different state. I just spoke to someone this morning coming in from North Carolina who is currently in a course. Because it's a federal program, there is no pause in the education process or the invoicing, because it's not state specific like our IRP is. So you can move around and you won't get, hurt, I guess, going from state to state during the transaction. As far as grades go, soldiers in undergraduate classes who receive a D or an F, or graduate courses a C, D, or F, you will be recouped. A lot of times soldiers are confused by that, because if you earn a D, technically that is passing, but it's not passing in the eyes of the Army, and you will be recouped to pay for that course. So D for undergrad, C for graduate courses. If you withdraw from a course after the added drop period, the school will want their money, so they will invoice the Army. And the Army will notice that you did not sit for that class, or you withdrew very early on. You will be recouped for that as well. That'll all be through Army Ignited. If your school for some reason does not load your grades, If you have an incomplete after 120 days from the course end date, that will also trigger a recoupment. I do have access to add grades. If you can give me your most updated transcript or your diploma, whatever you can do to show that you completed something or graduated, I can assist with that if it's close to the 120 days and you're struggling getting a hold of your advisor or what have you. We can work on that together. Also, if your ETS date is mid-course, or for some reason you leave service before your obligation is over, you will also be recouped for that. Officers and commission warrant officers are subject to a 4-year reserve duty obligation or a 2-year active duty service obligation for using FTA. So keep that in mind as well. It doesn't happen with everyone, but officers and commission warrant officers do have a obligation. Moving into credentialing assistance. So as I mentioned, FTA is for a degree pathway, whereas credentialing assistance, it could be a program that lasts a couple of months and you leave there with a credential, and the program itself offers more than 1,600 credentials, and they are all listed on the Army Cool website. I will mention that the CA, the amount of money that CA will provide, the $4,000, it comes from the same pot of money that FTA pulls from. So you can use both. Like in the slide, it says soldiers may use both FTA that we just talked about and Army credentialing, but it's very easy to hit that $4,000. So I always recommend finishing a degree pathway and then moving into CA, the following semester or the following year, whatever makes more sense to you. CA does pay expenses relating to the program itself and associated materials, whereas FTA is just the tuition. All the expenses for CA have to be paid prior to your course or exam start date. The vendor has to be paid before it begins. If you choose to pay out of pocket, the Credentialing Assistance Program will not reimburse you. So it's really important to get your requests through Army Ignited for credentialing as well. The Army Cool website does have 2 very important links on their site. One is to contact an Army CA counselor. They have their own program. They're not in our office, and they can assist you with very specific credentialing questions that you may have. And they also have an approved vendor list, and that's updated, if not every month, every 2 months. The one on the Army Cool website right now was updated the 1st of November. So they do keep a running checklist of new vendors, anything new added to that vendor or what they're offering. So it's really nice for you to kind of review when choosing a credentialing program. And just like FTA, you will utilize the Army Ignited website for credentialing assistance. The most popular CA credentials today that are being requested are the Project Management Professional, or the PMP, CompTIA, depending on what you call it, and the Certified Associate in Project Management, or the CAPM. They're very popular. There's also pilot trainings that they do, personal trainers, CrossFit. So there's a lot to kind of dig into with CA. So definitely take a look on the Army Cool website and click around. So that's the end of FTA and CA.